Water. Oh my gosh, here he goes again, talking about water. I know. You've heard so much about water from me. You've heard a lot from an exercise physiologist, all kinds of ideas about it, reason why it's so important. But you haven't heard it on this podcast from a professional in the nutrition field. We're talking water, looking at it a completely different way with our nutrition expert, Tanya Green, today on the Personalized Fitness Podcast. Welcome to the Personalized Fitness Podcast. My name is Garrett Williamson, president of Personalized Fitness. Thank you so much for joining us today on, it's a favorite topic of mine, but like I said in the intro, we're going to hit this from a different approach. We have our nutrition expert with us today, Tanya Green. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us as always, and actually talking about, it's a subject that's very near to my heart.
Yes.
But I love the fact that it's very important to you also. We are going to hit this a different way, though. But let me let you know how to get in touch with the show if you have any questions concerning this podcast, any others, or any questions about dispelling the myths of health, fitness, and wellness. Please contact us at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also reach me at Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com. That is our Facebook, our website and Facebook page, Personal Edge Fitness. Hit me up on X at Team PE if you're so inclined. All right. I love your approach to water. I love anybody's positive approach to water. And I'm a huge advocate myself. You and I have talked about this a lot. I've talked on the podcast, Lord, 252, whatever podcast now. I don't think there's a single podcast I don't mention water. But I love your why. Garrett, we're going to start from here.
Yes.
Show us where we're going to start from. This is why it's so important.
Yes. Okay. So, a little bit of math. Again, Garrett.
She always wants to bring up math. She knows I don't like math. She wants to bring up math.
Okay. All right. All right. So, first of all, it is estimated that somewhere around 75% of the general population, regardless of age, but general population, walks around dehydrated.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So what I want to give you are some numbers that that can't be argued with, and that are fascinating, and that really should change your mind about the amount of water that you're drinking. Okay. So first of all, average adult is about 60% water. So 60% of your weight is water. Right. All right. Now, let's get a better understanding of that. So let's take someone that weighs 100 pounds just to make it easy math. So if you weigh 100 pounds, 60 pounds of that weight is water.
Right.
All right. Let's put it a different word. 960 ounces. All right. If that doesn't mean anything to you.
For only 100 pounds.
Right.
960 ounces.
Right. 120 cups, if that makes more sense to you. Or 7.5 gallons.
If you are 100 pounds, 7.5 gallons of water is what you got in your body.
Right, is your weight.
Is your weight.
Is your weight.
Wow.
All right. Okay, so let's look at how much water there are in specific parts of your body.
Right.
Okay. All right, so muscle is about 75% water. The brain and the heart are about 75% water. Your lungs are even higher. Your lungs are around over 80% water.
Wow.
Your skin, somewhere around 65% water. Your bones.
Now, okay, dry bones, okay?
Right.
The bones. You would think the driest part of the body.
Right. 30% water in your bones, okay? And then your blood. Well, you may expect that to be high, and it is. 80 to 85% water because it's fluid.
Right.
But that's important.
Extremely.
That water makes up 85% of your blood. So just listening to those numbers, I hope you are impacted by how much water is in your system.
Right.
And so every cell, every organ, every system that is in your body and that makes it functions with water.
Every cell The majority of a cell, of any cell, is water.
It's water. That's right.
Period.
That's right.
So, and don't fall into thinking that, my lungs are 83% water, so that water just stays there. That's not like the water I drink and stuff. No. When you get dehydrated, when you're outside, you're sweating. When you're inside an air-conditioned office and feeling fine, not sweating at all, it feels great in here, the largest part of an air conditioner is a dehydrator. And so you are it's leaching water from everywhere. Mm-hmm. So your lungs can be affected, your blood, your skin, all of it.
Well, when you exhale,
yes,
you are exhaling.
Exactly. I
water.
Never thought about
Yeah.
If you don't breathe it, hold a mirror up to you.
Right. That's right.
Right.
You are. So water leaves your body
constantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Your body functions on water every second, and it is constantly using it, and it is being expelled.
Right.
Okay.
But you can see that if you're so you're losing it. You're losing it all over. Some places we see it more than other places, but believe it or not, we feel it. We feel it all these other places, even though we may not even know it.
That's
now,
right.
Break that down for me.
That's right. Well, the 75%
right.
of the population that is dehydrated, I don't think they know it.
No clue.
I don't think they know that they don't feel as good as they could.
Period.
If you are somebody that was not drinking enough water and you started drinking enough water, I think that is one of the biggest areas that you can tell a difference.
Massive.
100%
of the time.
You may not be able to tell a difference if you start taking a vitamin.
Right. True.
But water intake,
right,
you can tell the difference. And then if you have a day where you don't drink it, if you have a weekend that you go out of town and your routine is different and you don't
Absolutely.
drink it, you will know it.
Period.
You will know it.
No, right off the bat, especially if you've been taking it on a regular basis, you really know it.
Yes. So follow something I just set up. So every cell, every organ, every system in your body is affected when you're dehydrated.
Absolutely.
Everything that I just talked about, everything is affected. And so your body has to pull fluid away from one area
right,
to put it in another area when you're not taking in enough.
Now you have information on going even deeper in this, but this is why we have a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. This is why we take a lot of medication, which leaches water, which is compounding the problem. But you have a lot of information on how are different areas affected by it? Mm-hmm. And I know we want to dive head first into some of that. And I like the way that Tanya broke this down, talking about the different body parts, how much water is in them. You can understand, like she's saying, that if it's mostly water, you've got to be affecting it. If 83% of the lungs are made up of water, you've got to be affecting it. So, but dive into some of those if you would.
Okay. One of the things that that is very interesting to me personally is that it takes a significant amount of water to digest food, and then you excrete the waste from that food.
Right.
Well, along with that goes unhealthy bacteria.
Right.
Viral, cells that have gotten in. So water helps to flush and detox your system.
Very much so.
If you're dehydrated, you're not going to be able to fend off just your daily temporary illnesses that may happen.
Right.
And you may not be able to fight off some chronic things as well
either. True, exactly.
Because you're just not, your body is not able to get rid of waste as efficiently as it would be if it was fully hydrated.
Absolutely.
So it can even help to stave off a common cold.
Oh, by far, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, and again, because what I want you to think about is that if you don't have enough fluid, then everything is concentrated.
Yes.
In your body. So when you're sick, everything is concentrated. And so you can be sicker. Right. What does the doctor always tell you? Drink enough fluids, drink enough fluids.
Absolutely.
It dilutes the mucus that can be involved. So it's super important with stuff like that. All right.
My wife is common for saying this, because this is a lot when they're treating dogs. that have eaten something or taken in something they shouldn't have. What do? They pump fluids in them. The solution to pollution is dilution.
Yes.
And so basically hydration, adding water to it.
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. No. Being dehydrated can cause a lack of energy.
Yes.
Because your body has to work harder to maintain the fluid balance because you're not giving it enough fluid. All right. So lack of energy, weight management and weight loss can be affected
greatly
by water.
Yes.
And that's like a whole different animal.
That gets into not only digestion but cravings and what have you. Yeah.
Yes, but it is true.
No, very direct relation.
So it is true. Decreased joint pain.
Right.
Now, and again, let me throw something else out. The water, as far as I'm concerned, and I've told you this before, but I mean, water's your fountain of youth.
Period.
Yeah.
It's one of the what I call one of the four pillars.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But water is definitely one of them. So decreased joint pain, and this is your realm, but our joints are meant to be cushion.
Exactly.
And
that cushion comes from fluid.
Right.
Right.
And so if the fluid isn't there,
arthritis is going to be worse. It's going to be exacerbated.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Bone joint problems, all this is going to be exacerbated by that.
Yes. So
and I tell you what, I'm going to take you back to one, though, about more energy. You may be getting to this in a minute, but I loved your analogy. I have a different one. But your analogy about that. Okay, when you don't have as much water, how hard, talk about blood flow, and how about zapping energy? Use your analogy on that. I love it.
Well, and so if your blood is concentrated,
right,
it's going to be thicker, right? So, yeah, my analogy on that is if you're drinking water through a straw versus drinking a milkshake through a straw.
Right.
So it's thicker, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's like it just makes your entire body have to work just a little bit harder.
Every organ has to work harder because it goes through, it works off of blood. Your lungs have to work harder, your kidneys, liver, brain, everything has to work harder strictly because the blood is thicker. It is more concentrated, as you say. That you've heard me use the analogy before about motor oil in a car. If you're using thick motor oil, engine's going to have to work harder. The more viscous, the thinner oil, it's going to be more efficient. That's why just drinking water increases your energy level. Sorry, I love the milkshake and water idea. I didn't want to get past that.
Yeah, no. Well, and then the blood thing. Your blood is what carries
everything.
Oxygen. Yeah, all the vital. It carries everything to every point in your body.
Right.
So it cannot do that as effectively.
Right.
So if there's nothing else that you take away from this, your body cannot function as effectively as it could if you were properly hydrated.
Period.
And it affects every aspect of your life.
Absolutely. All of it. Let's go to one of my favorites and talk about is the brain. Okay. And I've seen the studies about this. 35% of the water you drink is used by your brain because your brain is constantly working. So when you have a dehydrated brain, and by the way, thirst is you're well past dehydration by the time you get to thirst.
Yes.
You're well past dehydration. That's why I have a lot of people say, I don't need to drink. I don't drink water. I'm not thirsty. Yeah, you haven't reached that point of dehydration. But being slightly dehydrated affects your brain function so much so that we've actually given it this ridiculous name of I'm having a senior moment. I can't remember something that's very common and I know the answer. That's dehydration. That's prolonged dehydration, especially if you're older. That's prolonged dehydration causing that damage, which actually and I had to write down how to pronounce his name.
Oh.
It's Batman Lihadji.
Oh.
Dr. Batman Lihadji. I call him Dr.
Batman.
Bach. Yeah. I call him the water doc.
Yeah.
He's written 3 or 4 books on this, and he's done a lot of his studies about this. He actually took some early onset dementia, early onset Alzheimer's patients from other general practitioners, and he just hydrated them. And it was amazing. He had several of them completely reverse the effects of it. It was dehydration causing it. And so when you talk about the brain being, 73% water, well, there you go.
Yeah.
And constantly doing damage.
Yeah.
All right. I may be stepping ahead.
Yeah.
But what counts as water? I got to ask the question. We both get it all the time. What counts as water?
As water? Well, I say that water counts.
I didn't
as
pay
water.
her to say that. I promise you.
Water counts as water.
Water counts as water.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
All right, but let's talk about why.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Okay. All right. So, and I'm going to talk specifically about weight loss here. I always have people. This is my question to people: do you want to eat your calories, or do you want to chew your calories, or do you want to drink your calories?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's a choice.
Right. But now getting back to hydration and not weight loss. So if you are, yes, there is water in apple juice or cranberry juice or whatever.
Right.
There's water in Coke.
Yeah.
All right. But you have added calories.
Right.
Okay. If you drink 64 ounces of a caloric beverage every day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
So you don't want to drink you don't want to drink beverages that have a lot of calories.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then everybody needs to. I need my caffeine.
Yeah.
But I don't want to drink beverages with caffeine all day long.
Right. Right.
Okay. I don't want that to be my source of water.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not.
So water counts as water. Now, if you drink. If you are getting all the water in that you need, we haven't gone to that yet.
Yeah.
And you want to drink something else that does have calories, does have caffeine, absolutely.
Yeah.
And guess what? Then you're getting some extra fluid.
Bonus. Don't even count it. Just
right.
bonus.
But we don't want to rely on those as our source of water. So as far as I am concerned, water counts as water. And when in a minute, when you and I start talking about how many ounces that is, we're talking about water.
Yeah, period.
We're not talking about, beverages or fluid. We're talking about water.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, let's go to that.
Okay.
And they've heard my approach on it. I'm going to rehash that. You and I've talked about it.
Right.
I like your approach to it. How would you? What's the amount?
Okay.
What do we look for?
So what I like to start with, and Garrett's number is going to be a little bit higher than mine. What I like to start with is the old fashioned that you have always heard: 64 ounces a day, 8-ounce cups of water a day.
Right.
Okay. So that's a good baseline, a
Right.
good place to start. And again, water is water. So beverages that you are consuming in addition to that, that's great, but 64 ounces of water.
Right.
Okay.
And we actually, believe it or not, we actually agree on that. And that's going to shock a lot of my listeners because you hear me use another number. And we're going to get to that. But what I love, this is why I like working with Tanya so much. She has a very real world approach to this. And let's make this, what are we doing now? What little changes can we make? And the old 8-ounce glass of 64 ounces is a good place to start. Mm-hmm. It's a good, let's do our short-term goal, then let's go our long-term goal. Great short-term goal is 64 ounces. What do we need? What do we actually need? Well, according to National Institute of Health, American Dietary Association, American Medical Association, Harvard Medical, Stanford Medical, Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, Cooper Clinic, I can keep going, is 100 ounces. And that's what we're going for. But I love your idea of, hey, let's start. This is our first goal, is to hit 8-ounce glasses. Do you mind if I tell them how to get there?
No, that is part two. Okay,
Right.
so we've given you a goal.
Right.
Now, how do we reach that goal?
And I'm going to go through one of my favorite practices, and that is, and actually I want to show them yours too. First thing to do is to find, you need to have water with you all the time. And I found what's interesting about it, if you have it with you, not it's in my car and I'm in the house, with me, then it's a nervous habit.
You need to be able to see it.
It's period. But it's a nervous habit. You see, we're sitting there drinking water as we're doing this. It's a nervous habit just to drink it. But your first thing you want to do is you want to find a water bottle that works for your head.
Yes.
More than 16 ounces. I'm saying a minimum of 20. But then what works for your head? All right, I'm going to show you right here. This is 24 ounces. This is my water bottle. Of course, my Personal Edge logo on it. We'll get to the rubber bands in a minute. This works for my head. Somewhere between 20 to 30 ounces works for my head. I'll show you what doesn't work for my head.
But it works for mine.
It does work for hers. This is Tanya's. And it's how many ounces?
This is 75 ounces.
75 ounces. Okay, same thing as Charlie. Our exercise coordinator, he does the exercise of the week. You've seen him on the show before. He carries a 75. 75 works for his head. And what I mean by that is the fact that, it's easier for me to do 75 ounces and drink that much through the day, and I can handle that a lot better. For me, I want to have a goal of downing this bottle so many times. So this works for me. And our first thing we're going to do with that bottle is start tomorrow. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that bottle's with you wherever you go. I mean, wherever you go, wherever it's socially acceptable to carry that bottle with you, have it with you. As I say all the time, I'm going to a Rotary meeting in a little while. That is a place that serves food. Unless I'm speaking to that club, I do not take my water bottle in there. But when I sing on stage at church, it is next to me because it's socially acceptable for me to bring my water bottle there.
Yeah.
So wherever it's socially acceptable, you want to have it with you. And tomorrow, please don't try to hit 64. Mm-hmm. Please don't try to hit 100. Mm-hmm. Let's don't go for a monster goal. Don't set a record. I promise you could. I'm sure you could. Don't. What I want you to do is I want you to drink normally. Mm-hmm. Whatever that means to you. Because we're trying to get an idea of where are you starting from. As you approach, I love the way you approach diet. I've said this, I'll say it a bunch of times whenever we do these segments. And that is you approach a diet. Hey, tell me what to eat. Okay, first, what are you eating? What small changes do we need to make? Right. When it comes to water, the same thing. Let's see where you are. And don't worry about where it is. If it's 20 ounces, it's 20 ounces. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you're going to know how many bottles of water you've had to drink. Why? I'll show you. How? I'll show you. See these rubber bands? That's what these are here for. And by the way, they're free. They're free whether you're a client or not. Come by Personal Edge, and we'll be glad to give them to you. Pick them up. But what I do here is I keep those rubber bands never leave the water bottle. They're silicone. They actually go in the dishwasher. The reason they don't leave the water bottle, if I take them off the water bottle, I'll leave them somewhere. So what I do is as I finish a bottle, I'm going to move a band from the bottom to the top to the bottom, whichever way I'm counting that day. That's how I'm tracking it. And I think you'll agree. If you're not tracking it,
you won't do it.
You won't do it.
You won't do it.
You won't do it, period.
Because it takes effort.
Oh, it does.
Especially at first.
Now, exactly. It's
after
homework.
you get used to it.
Right.
I laugh, and people will probably think I'm strange. If I'm doing laundry and I can't see my water bottle, I stop because I've probably left it upstairs or something. Right. But yes, it takes some effort.
Absolutely.
And you have to have a plan.
Right. Absolutely.
You have to have a plan.
And this is the plan. I love what you say because like a lot of you, I know you do this. You leave your house and you realize you left your phone.
I left my water bottle.
And you're going to go back and get your phone? The same thing with water bottle.
You got to go back and get your water
bottle.
Got to go back.
Yes. That's what we want. We want to develop that. So what we're going to do is at the end of that day, we'll find out what your baseline is. That's what your body's normally used to having. So great. That's your baseline. That's where we're going to start. So what I mean by baseline is the next 7 days, you don't go below that baseline. You can go above it. But whatever you do, don't go below that baseline. And I mean Sunday, too. I mean National Don't Drink Water Day, that day, too. Every day, do not go below that baseline. Make sure you hit at least that. At the end of 7 days, add a bottle. Mm-hmm. And keep doing that until you hit the 64, have a celebration when you do, and keep going until you hit 100. And I bet you money, I've never seen this fail. Within the first 2 to 3 weeks, you will notice a change. If not in the first few days, but you'll notice a massive difference. But that's how to get there. Then once you get there, stay there forever.
Yes, and yes. So this is not I did it. I drank my 64 ounces last Wednesday.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. This is something. Your body
lifestyle change.
Again, do you remember all those numbers? Okay.
Right.
Your body functions off water every moment.
Absolutely.
So it has to be given water every day. It's not something you want to try to do just once a week. Right. This is a daily thing.
You're losing water when you sleep.
Yeah.
Because when you say you're breathing, I mean, just breathing itself, you're losing water. Mm-hmm. So making sure you can, and like you said, this is I've said this several times before. This is the one piece of advice, and I don't qualify and just say nutrition. I'm going to throw fitness in there too. This is the one piece of advice I know works 100% of the time. I'll guarantee it.
Yes, you will feel a difference.
Yeah,
you will feel a difference.
Massive.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Right. And we could be here all day on this one. Any closing thoughts on it?
No, I really think the biggest thing is having a plan. Finding what works for you, and what works for he and I are completely different,
right?
And it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But find something you may try the big water bottle and not like it,
right?
So you may find that this is better, or vice versa,
right?
But find a method that works for you,
and it's a method where you can track it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
And, you know, socially acceptable, all those things. What fits your lifestyle? That's what we're looking for. Absolutely. So thank you so much for being on and talking about one of my most favorite subjects. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
So
me.
listen, if you have any questions about this, please give me a call at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also reach me at Garrett at personaledgefitness.com, my email address, personaledgefitness.com, our website, Personal Edge Fitness, our Facebook page, or hit me up on X at Team PE, talking about, you know, it's my favorite subject, but it's so simple to do, so simple to make that change, so simple to add that to your lifestyle, and just one more way we help you reach your level of wellness. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.